can be neutralized, or at least their ability to be effective can be diminished if my far shoulder and hip are pinned to the floor. Okay, so an example of this is, say for example, I have an underhook on my partner, okay? Very, very strong attacking position. With an underhook, okay, very hard for my training partner to get chest to chest. We're gonna be spending a lot of time on the use of underhooks, okay? But again, from here, he can't really get me chest to chest. He doesn't really have a strong ability to control my head in this particular position. That all changes if I have an underhook, and let's say, for example, if we rotate, if I have an underhook and my training partner is able to flatten me out, okay, and from here, yes, I have the underhook, okay, but if he's able to keep me flat, then now from here, my underhook is not very useful. My underhook is only going to be useful if I can come off of my back. If I can get my far shoulder and hip off of the floor, and I can start to hike my underhook up, now I deny my training partner chest to chest. Now I can start going into the offensive movements that I'm looking for. Same thing goes with a butterfly hook. Let's say, for example, I have a half butterfly, okay? And from here, from a half butterfly, looks like I have a good position, but my training partner has flattened me out, okay? My hip and my shoulder on the far side are on the mat. And from here, I can't just look to take my training partner off of chest to chest, get his control of my head by just using my upper body, okay? He's beating me at the upper body. My far shoulder and hip are on the floor. If I want to be useful from the half butterfly, of course, there's ways that I can recover from this position. This is by no means the end of the road here. But if I stay flat on my hip and shoulder, now from here, my training partner has more of an opportunity to be able to post inside my knee and start looking to step over. Okay, and then from there, he can potentially beat, okay, my butterfly hook. Okay, so regardless of the position that you're in, I gave the example with half guard. If I'm flattened out, with the underhook. If I'm flattened out with an underhook, the underhook isn't very useful. Okay, so that's the importance of, okay, the far shoulder and the hip. Ultimately, we're in a situation where we're flattened out. We want to use an underhook, use a butterfly hook to be able to get us back off of that far shoulder and hip. Use whatever upper body frames that we can get into place, okay, to get us off of our far shoulder and hip. So he's going to be looking to get our far shoulder and hip on the floor. It's up to us to use whatever recourse we have at that given time, whether it be a butterfly hook or an underhook or maybe some sort of upper body frame, to get us back off of that far shoulder and hip and into a position where we can start being offensive. Okay, so we talked about these different little battles that are in play when we're in half guard, okay, the battle for the far shoulder and hip. At any given time, when we're playing half guard, there are two battles happening. There's the battle of the upper body, and there's the battle at the lower body. So, for example, our far shoulder, upper body, far hip, at the lower body. And so we need to keep in mind that there's two battles happening at once, okay? And this is kind of overlap for certain other positions in the sport. Say, for example, back attacks. You know, there's battles happening with the legs. If you're the offensive guy, where you're looking to potentially trap your training partner's arms, insert your hooks, whatever the case is, and you're looking to strangle upstairs. Okay, so you use those two in combination. They're supposed to be working synergistically. And the same thing goes when we're talking about half guard. Okay, we have different positions that we want to have our legs in. We have different positions that we want to have our arms in, okay, our upper body in. So knowing those positions, sometimes you may lose one of the battles at the lower body. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm in half guard, and from here, my training partner, he's able to beat my knees, okay? So he starts closing in, he starts covering my hip, okay? And from here, he's looking to attempt to now start progressing forward to chest and start flattening me out. So he's effectively winning one of the battles, okay? He's winning the battle downstairs at the lower body. However, I do have good frames in place. Again, my upper body is controlling the space between his arms, between his shoulders and elbows, etc. I'm denying him chest to chest. Okay, yes, he's closing distance on me. Yes, he was able to beat my knees. Okay, I don't have knees in front of him to be able to push him, okay, on either side. And so from here, he's able to win downstairs. But I'm winning upstairs. Okay, so it's kind of a 50-50 battle here. He potentially has my far hip flat on the floor. Okay, but I have my far shoulder off of the floor, at least sufficiently enough that I'm not completely flattened out. Okay, so if we turn, he's covering my hips, okay, and he has my hip flatter on the floor. However, my shoulder is relatively off the mat. Okay, I can move my shoulder because he hasn't controlled my head yet. So what we need to keep in mind here is that at any given moment, if we're losing one of these battles, okay, the one that we're winning can pick up from the slack of the one that we're losing. So if I'm losing downstairs, okay, and he's beating my knees, he's closing in distance, but I'm winning upstairs, I can utilize these upper body frames to start creating just enough space for my legs to come back in. Now I can get knees back in front of my partner. Okay, now I'm in a good position both downstairs and upstairs. Okay, so you can see how one picks up the slack of the other. Okay, if I make a mistake where my training partner beats my knees, I can use the upper body to help me recover for the loss that I had at the lower body. So it's important to understand that these two, they complement each other and they help each other in those aspects. Same thing goes if we're losing the battle upstairs. Okay, let's say, for example, we'll go on this side. My partner does a good job of beating me and controlling my head. Okay, now, turn a little bit. My shoulder is pinned down to the floor. He's controlled my head. I've lost the battle upstairs. I don't have inside position, and from here he's winning. However, I had the ability to insert a butterfly hook. You can see that my hip is slightly off of the floor. Now this guy's going to want to start flattening my hip. But because I have that inside position, I have the ability to take the hip off of